Good afternoon, Australia. Welcome to sport-loving fans across the nation and around the world. We're coming to you live from the Youth Olympic Village in Nanjing, China for our very final broadcast of AUSOlympicTeam TV. Welcome, Chef Commission, Susie O'Neill. We also have in the studio Sam Geddes, who won a bronze medal last night, and our golfers, Brett, Coletta and Elizabeth Elmassian. Welcome. Susie, first to you. It's the final day of competition here at the Youth Olympic Games. We've got a massive night ahead of us. Our hockey team is playing in the gold medal match. How do you think the night's going to unfold for our boys?
Well, I had a crystal ball. I'd say we're definitely going to win the gold medal, but obviously they've got to go through the process, and it's going to be a really tough match against Canada. The whole team is going to come out and watch, so hopefully they'll feel our support and hopefully they'll win the gold medal.
It's been a great Youth Olympic Games for Australia. We're taking home at least 25 medals, and certainly there'll be another one in the bag tonight. We don't know if it'll be gold or silver. But that 25 medals, we've got 4 gold, 4 silver, and 17 bronze. What's the team's performance been like, in your opinion, Susie?
Well, I've been really impressed. Coming into this meet, I said one of the aims I wanted was excellence both on and off the field. Off the field, I've been mostly impressed with the whole team. It's been a really good attitude, really positive attitude, and I think mostly everyone's been supporting other people and getting out to other events. So I've noticed a really good feel amongst the team. On the field, I wasn't quite sure of results, but so the aim for excellence for me was everyone giving 100% right to the end. So only the athletes will know, I suppose, in their hearts if they've actually done that. But there's obviously always room for improvement. But with the 25 medals, I'm very happy with that. It'll be 26, as you said, with the hockey tonight. They got 32 in Singapore 4 years ago, so I think that's a pretty good effort.
It is a wonderful effort, and certainly we're proud of all the athletes that have worn the green and gold for Australia. There's 89 teenagers here, aged 14 to 18. They've all been, in my opinion, very well behaved. Off the field, Susie, how do you think the Australians have, I suppose, behaved? And in addition, what's the culture been like amongst the team?
As I said, I think the culture's been good. I said to them leading into it, it's a privilege to wear the Australian tracksuit, not a right. So there's a response with that, I think. For me, it's not always about gold medals, it's about how you represent your country. And I've been extremely impressed with everyone, as I said, how they've represented our country. And to me, I don't know if I'm old-fashioned or not, but that means more to me than winning gold medals. So I've been really impressed with the culture. And hopefully when they move on to senior teams, they'll carry that same attitude with them.
I think one of our, I suppose, young athletes who's had a fantastic attitude and a very positive and enthusiastic attitude is Sam Geddes. Sam sitting next to you. One of Sam's tweets went viral with her jumping after her bronze medal winning performance in the 100-metre relay. Sam, congratulations. You also won a bronze medal last night in the Mixed Nations event, which I believe involves 8 athletes running 100 metres. Can you tell me a little more about that event, what countries you were competing in, and what the event was like?
Well, first of all, it was a fantastic experience. It was really well organised. They managed to organise 66 teams of about 9 athletes, just to make sure there was a few subs in case some people didn't turn up. It was on a shuttle relay, so it was just 100 metres up and down, up and down. It was in joggers, so those people, like throwers and everything like that, didn't get disadvantaged. Yeah, it was actually pretty cool. There was stuff like there was like a 5-metre changeover zone. It was pretty interesting. I had to pass to a high jumper, so I had to reach up a little bit further.
That wouldn't even be a problem because you are you jump high.
I jump high, you know. No, but it was really good. You know, we did all of our heats and everything like that, and then we found out that we were in the final, which was very exciting. A bronze medal.
It was a great night for Australian track and field. In this particular event, we came away with another 3 medals, a trifecta of gold and silver. If you include those medals for the Australian track and field team, it sums to a tally of 9 medals, which is wonderful for your sport. I don't think it's since 1976 that we've won so many medals for track and field and Olympic Games. How do you feel about that coming from the athletic section of the Youth Olympics?
I think it's actually really fantastic. I think everybody has tried so hard and we've all been so supportive of each other, and it's not that we didn't expect it, but I think that it's a very good result compared to what we would normally get in athletics. The quality and the standard of athletics is incredible, and for Australia to be up there, especially in competition like this.
Yeah, it was some great performances. Gold to Jess Bourne in the 400 metres, yourself and Trey Williams winning bronze in the 100 metres. So, as you said, an excellent result for the track and field athletes, and certainly inspiration to some of the young Australians out there who are little athletics these days.
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, if I had a thing about in Little A's age right now, seeing people, you know, be so successful on such an international stage, it would have been very inspiring. Very motivating to be able to make goals and dreams.
Yeah, I think too, like another motivation and dreams are for our golfers. They're now part of the Olympic sports program, and I suppose for the first time we've got 2 golfers who are here representing Australia at Youth Olympics. Brett, what's been your experience like representing Australia in the sport of golf?
Well, it's been great experience. I feel that the tournament itself has run very well, seeing as though it hasn't been in the Olympics for. So I mean, I found it was a great experience for me, and I don't know about Liz, but the competition was extremely hard out there. Everyone picked pretty much one of their best players from their country. So yeah, I was just so honoured to play for my country and really enjoyed it.
How did you go in your competition personally, and what do you take away from this event in terms of training and skills that you need to improve on?
So we played 2 events, an individual and teams. I came 5th in my individual. I had a disappointing last day. I had a pretty bad hole in the back 9, which killed me a little bit. But yeah, I'll take that as an experience, a positive, and work that towards my training. I'll just use that as positive influence for me going into my next tournament.
Liz, you also represent Australia in golf. What was the course like, and what was the competition like amongst the women?
The course was pretty much like an Australian course. Like you've obviously got your fairways, greens, bunkers, and that. The greens were a lot slower, so it was hard adapting to them. But apart from that, it was pretty straightforward. A lot of it was just about course positioning and just playing the right shots, also you don't drop too many. And yeah.
What does the inclusion of golf mean for you in your career, and what do you hope to achieve further on?
I think golf, it's amazing how it's in the Olympics now. It's definitely a big incentive. And it just makes me want to train harder and one day play in the probably 2020 Olympics.
What's the experience been like for you, living in the village, eating in the dining hall, participating in the culture and education program? Can you give us some of the highlights?
It's been very different. I mean, coming from a golf perspective, you don't really get to play with many other sports. So I've loved just being able to talk to many other athletes from different countries and just the whole cultural experience. Yesterday we had these 6-year-old girls dancing, doing these Chinese dances. You just go in and join in and have some fun. So yeah.
Yesterday was quite an interesting event for golf. It was a mixed teams event.
Yeah.
Can you tell us again how that unfolded and how you placed on the day?
Being in a mixed team event is different to us. You don't really play often back in Oz, but you got to get along with your other players. So me and Brett haven't really played often with each other. I think it's the first we've met each other really. So it was definitely different. You've just got to keep cheering each other on, and we played pretty well out there. I think overall we played great golf apart from a few holes. So yeah.
Someone who else was out there was our own chef de mission, Susie O'Neill. We've got a few photos of her in the buggy. Who knows, she may come back and be a dual Olympian, having competed in swimming and golf. Susie, just back to you. I just wanted to ask you a few questions about the Youth Olympic Games themselves. Mixed gender events. The IOCs have been observing quite closely mixed gender events at the Olympic Games. I think 14 of the 28 sports here have mixed gender events. In London, they introduced for the first time mixed tennis, but we could have mixed tennis but doubles. What's your opinion of mixed gender events, and what future do they hold on the Olympic program?
I'm a really big fan of it. For me, I saw it for the first time in the sport that I know probably the best in swimming, and I really enjoyed the concept, mainly because there was a lot more tactics involved in the relay event, because obviously there's a big difference in the speed between the males and the females, so the lead changed a lot, and I found it a lot more exciting. But I think it's a really great idea moving forward. Just to, we've got 50% equal men and women virtually at the Olympics now. So why not put them in the same events? I think it makes it more exciting.
I think it is exciting, and it must be quite a lot of strategy as well involved in picking the athletes that are on that particular team. I noticed in swimming, Tracy Menzies was spending a lot of time working out which athlete would swim which leg. Can you give us an insight into that?
Yeah, well, in swimming it's quite difficult because, as I said, there's a big difference between men's and women's times, and you have 2 girls and 2 boys, obviously. So depending on who you put in what order, the lead will change, and being behind is a big detriment in relay swimming because you get overwashed and different things, and obviously psychologically if you're that far behind. And also just adding up the times and working at the best combination. You know, if you've got 8 athletes to work with, and you've got to pick 2 out of each sex, 2 girls and 2 boys, it's quite a mathematical nightmare to try and work it out. So yeah, it makes it a lot more tactical and more exciting, depending on if you want to lead one pretty hard with the fastest person.
Certainly these mixed gender events will be interesting to see if they're incorporated. We've also had some demonstration sports here, skateboarding, wushu, and of course we've got the inclusion of golf and rugby sevens. Golf, they've had a great competition and our rugby sevens girls have brought home the gold medal. What's been the input of golf and rugby sevens to this team?
Well, starting with rugby sevens, I thought they were a great inclusion. You don't have a really awesome girls team sport again in the Olympics. Obviously softball's out now, so rugby sevens is a place where girls can aim towards making their team better, gives them one more chance. And I found it a very, very exciting competition and really, really enjoyed watching it. And golf, you know, golf's always difficult to know whether it should be in the Olympics, but when you see the athletes competing who are really into it and really, as Elizabeth said, motivated to make the Olympics, that makes me think that it definitely should be in the Olympics if they're putting on a really high place for them to aim towards. So yeah, I think great additions for the Olympic movement. And also spectating golf is also, you know, pretty different from other sports. I went out twice to watch, and to be able to walk around with the players and follow so closely, you know, it's a huge buzz. So close with the athletes.
Yeah, there's been great spectators for most of the sports that we've had here, which has been wonderful. The Youth Olympic Games is definitely considered a stepping stone for young athletes. For Australia, we've had 3 athletes from Singapore go on to represent Australia in London. There were 3 from the Innsbruck Winter Youth Olympic Games go on to represent Australia in Sochi, and many more have gone on to compete in World Championships and the Commonwealth Games. Susie, in your opinion, can you see this concept of the Youth Olympic Games again reinforcing those principles of a stepping stone? And are there any athletes that you've identified amongst this team that could potentially go on and wear the green and gold in Rio and possibly Tokyo?
Well, it would be great to see all 89 athletes, you know, go to the Olympics, but that's not going to happen. So the ones, I suppose, that are really motivated by this experience and motivated to go back and train hard to make the Olympics. I think it's great that they've had a taste of it, almost like a little teaser coming to the Youth Olympics. And also, if they do end up going on to the Olympics, they've experienced what it's like in competing in an Olympic type situation. I personally think it's a lot harder than a normal, say, World Championships, with all the distractions of living in a village and so much going on around you, catching transport that's quite often slow or late, difficulties eating the food hall in the village. So to me, it's a lot harder to do well at Olympics than World Championships. So the athletes who have experienced it at the Youth Olympics, they've got such an advantage, I think, when they make the team, the senior Olympic team. As for who's going to go forward, I'm not sure. I think it's really up to them. You know, everyone's motivated once they arrive at the Olympics or arrive at a competition. For me, the difference is the athletes that are motivated every single day, you know, twice a day, put in the hard work. They're the ones that will go on and make the Olympics and hopefully win medals for us.
And just one final piece of advice to our team here. You asked them to give 110%. They have. We've seen some great performances. What would you say to them now on the final day of competition, looking forward into their future? What's one final piece of advice you give to these young athletes?
I'd say congratulations. You know, celebrate your successes that you've had here, but look at where you can improve, what you can do better moving forward, and don't be satisfied with this. You know, there's more exciting things to be had in your sporting career if you just work hard for it.
Susie, thank you. You've been a wonderful chef. You've got out and seen all the sports and supported all the young athletes. Sam, except for sailing. That was one, but it was a long way away. I think it was, you know, it was challenging for the sailors. It was like wind here in Nanjing, so it was trying at times that they to very much help their composure. Sam Geddes, thanks to you, you're walking away from the Olympics with 2 bronze medals, amazing. And to Brett and Elizabeth, thanks for sharing an insight into golf at the Youth Games. Don't miss tonight's hockey gold medal match, Australia taking on Canada, 8:30 p.m. here in Nanjing, which is 10:30 p.m. in Australian Eastern Standard Time. You can watch it live on Olympic.tv or the Olympic YouTube channel, or you can download an app and watch it on your phone. We hope that Australia comes away with gold, of course. So this is the final broadcast for OzOlympic Team TV. Thanks for joining us every day or watching us later on in a video on demand download. See you later.